Islam, 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 family. Rising to my highest heights, giving all perfect praise to Allah, creator of creation. Giving, extending those high honors to all the great worthies who have come down the line of divine, mainly Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. And knowing something about these four Hebrew Muslims, we can talk to the entire planet. Extending those high honors to the man that we are here to talk about today, the Honorable Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the Moorish Science Temple in North America. Okay, extending those high honors to our National Grand Sheikh who resides in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm speaking of our National Grand Sheikh Joel Bratton Bey, to the grand body that he works with on a daily basis to move us onward, upward into eventual perfection. Extending those high honors to our sheiks, deputy sheiks, sheikesses, deputy sheikesses, and most importantly, to our future, our children. We want to greet everyone with Islam, 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 which simply means peace. Islam means peace. And we understand that the entire Western Hemisphere back in the day was governed by the great law of peace or the great law of Islam. So we want to greet everyone with a hearty Islam. I don't want you to think that we are saying something strange, even though it may be brand new to you. All right, let's keep it moving. Hopefully, everything is working fine. Okay, let me do some checking here real quick on the volume. Let me make sure that we have enough volume. Let me turn the volume up. So hopefully that will work for you. Hopefully you can hear me. All right, let's get off into it. Okay, so we're coming with another demonstration, another demonstration. The subject matter today is going to be a United States citizen versus a non-resident alien. Again, a United States citizen versus or compared to a non resident alien. What is a United States citizen? What is a non resident alien? Is one better than the other? Or does one have an advantage over the other? Does it really matter? And why? If it matters, why does it matter? So we're going to get off into it. We're not going to waste time and go back. We have videos online right now that you can watch and get the foundation. I personally am going to jump right into it. And since I understand that most of us do not believe in any information that comes from an Asiatic, copper colored people, dark skinned people. We don't really believe that. So, what I have to do is kick off our presentation with what Prophet Noble Drew Ali said. And then once we establish that firmly, we'll get off into what Great White Father says. Because most of us we don't move unless the information is coming from the pale European, pale skinned European. We don't move. The information is not valid unless white folks validate it for you. So we're gonna validate it both ways today. All right. So first we want to get off into what are we doing here? Why are we here? Prophet Noble Drew Ali, you may have heard of him, you may not have heard of him. It's okay. We're going to go over his literature today because there's a lot of confusion on what he said. We have Moors on YouTube giving the prophet a 4-second sound bite, you know, but they're not plumbing the depth of what he said and why he said it. They're guiding you in such a way to use the United States codes to try to liberate you on paper. I get it. I get it. But we're going to deal with the foundational knowledge of what the founder said today and why he said what he said. And I'm going to try to keep it as brief as possible because I understand these things get a little out of control. That's my fault. It gets a little out of control. Okay. So we're going to get off into it. We're going to get off into it and we're going to start with something that if we are not familiar with it, we should get familiar with it right away. And that would be what Prophet Noble Drew Ali said in terms of Act 6. Okay, Act 6. Moorish Science Temple of America Constitution and Bylaws. Act 6. And again, if you don't have the Naturalization Orientation Handbook and this literature that you are going to see today, you can go to our website, MoorishAmericanNationalRepublic.com, MoorishAmericanNationalRepublic.com, and order this information and pick up this information for yourself. Now, we're going to get right off into it. This is Act 6 of 7 acts written by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they must know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to the slaves by the slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Now, there's a lot of information here. This has to be unpackaged. I'm not going to unpackage all of it today. We're going to touch on some of it. You have to keep coming back to the YouTube channel, and I'll keep unpacking it, demonstration by demonstration by demonstration. But today, we're going to focus on proclaim their nationality, and we're going to focus on this era of time, this new era of time now, and why you must proclaim your nationality and what that actually looks like. Now, if you've been following me for any length of time, you understand that we have a process, a paper trail, a lawful process in how you should position yourself within the government on paper, proclaiming your nationality so that you can be recognized by the government in which you live. Okay. But where the confusion comes in is we are dealing with a duality in terms of national governments. There is a duality. So we don't know kind of what we're doing on paper. You see, are we applying for US citizenship? Are we denouncing our US citizenship? And if we are denouncing our US citizenship, Why are you denouncing your U.S. citizenship? Why don't you want to be a U.S. citizen? We're going to get into that. We're going to get into what it actually is. But we're going to deal with the prophet's literature first because we got to lay this foundation on why we are doing what we are doing. So again, Acts 6, Prophet Noble Drew Ali says to us, hey, with us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we're teaching our people their nationality. Well, your nationality is Moorish American. Let's just get right to it. And their divine creed, that they must know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to the slaves by the slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. We're going to stop right there. Okay. So as I said on many occasions, on September the 5th, 1774, at the Continental Convention, our nationality was being stripped. We the people, to form a more perfect union, were actually 35 Moorish chieftains and 20 Anglo-Saxons, forming we the people to form a more perfect union. Okay, we're not going to plumb the depth of that today because I got other stuff I want to get off into. So now, facts. We don't deal with opinions on this site. We deal with facts and history. There is no such thing as a Negro, black, colored man, or Ethiopian. These names were given to the slaves by the slaveholders in 1774 and were outlawed in 1865 by a constitutional amendment, 13th Amendment with its 20 sections. We're going to get off into that. The so-called black man is in actuality a descendant of Moroccans from the ancient Moroccan Empire. We got to deal with that. I need you to wrap your head around that. As late as 1492, the Moroccan Empire included nations today known as Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, Tripoli, Spain, United States, Canada, Mexico, and the countries in Central and South America. All of these nations were under one flag and one constitution until European domination. That needs to be said again. As late as 1492. Now, if you know anything about history, you'll understand that this is the year that Christopher Columbus set sail to the Western Hemisphere. He wanted to go west by sailing east, or east by going west, that kind of thing. As late as 1492, the Moroccan Empire included nations today known as Morocco, the little North African country that's on the African continent today, Algiers on the African continent today, Tunis, Tripoli, which is Libya, Spain, United States, Canada, Mexico, and the countries in Central and South America. All of these nations were under one flag and one constitution until European domination. And if you are curious as to the flag that they were under, all you have to do is go here. The flag on the left is the flag that they were under. It is mistakenly called the flag of Morocco for the North African country. Not true, not true. Okay. They were under that banner. And before that, I'm sorry, not the banner, but the flag. The banner is on the right. You say, well, that's the United States flag. No, that is a banner. The song tells you, and our banner shall wave. It didn't say our flag shall wave. It said, and the banner shall wave. That is so that banner is given to the European, one government, two jurisdictions. That banner is given to the Europeans so that they can do commerce and international trade. You say, I don't understand that. Well, okay. Left side, you have Morocco, Right side, you have United States. Okay, just follow the story. Just follow the story. I'm gonna get it. Left side, you have Morocco. Right side, you have the United States. Does it make sense now? One government, two jurisdictions. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality. Do you get it? Is it starting to make sense? Okay, hopefully so. And again, if it doesn't make sense, just come back to it. Just come back to it and watch the video again. Look at the verbiage. Let me move this out of the way so you can see who actually said this. Hold on just a minute. Let me move this over here. Now, look at our president, our brother. See, they decided your name. Who is this they? The Europeans that conquered us as a people. They decided your name, nationality, religion, and tribe. And you spend the rest of your life defending something you didn't even choose. Do you see this makes you a fool? See, I'm always going to bring something to shock you into reality. I didn't say it, brother and sister. Robert Mugabe said it. You understand? But the question is it true? They decided. Who decided? The European decided. First, your nationality was stripped at the Continental Convention of 1774, which takes you back there to the unions at the Articles of Association. They decided because they wanted to keep this slave trade going. We couldn't do that if you identified as a human being. So they had to strip you of your nationality. See, they decided your name. The name you wearing now are not your ancient family names. You are wearing somebody else's name, Jesse Jackson. That's European. You are Asiatic. You're not European. Why are you wearing somebody else's name? Shaquille O'Neal, that's Irish. What are you doing? You are not Irish, not in that sense. You are the original Irish who are descendants of the Twa people, but you don't know that. Okay. You're not English. Why are you wearing an English name? Okay. They decided your name, your nationality. What is your nationality? If we put it in boxcar letters, you would not recognize it today. Your nationality, according to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, is Moorish American. What is your religion? You say, well, my religion is Christianity. No, Christianity was brought to these shores. This entire Western Hemisphere was Islamic and being governed by the Great Law of Peace, a republican form of government. Article 4, Section 4. All states shall be governed by a republican form of government. What is this Christianity that you're following as a religion? See? So they decided your name, your nationality, your religion, tribe, and you spend the rest of your life defending something you didn't even choose. Don't you see this makes you a fool? Well, you can't change it because you don't know it. I get it. Let's get back at it right here. We're going to get right back at it. We're going to go right back into the prophet's literature. See, I'm not dealing with your opinion. I'm going to deal with what Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, the founder. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. That's the whole point. That's the point. Your nationality was stripped in 1774. And then people were born who did not know their nationality. And then some more, they died, and some more people were born. And they died, and some more people were born. Generation after generation after generation after generation. And now you are whatever they say you are. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they must know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to the slaves by the slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now. Prophet Noble Drew Ali is on scene. What he teaches is alive and well and lawful. Okay. Hopefully we establish that. Let's keep it moving. We're going to keep bouncing in and out of what Prophet Noble Drew Ali said all during this demonstration. Let me move this down here. Let me go back at it. Okay. So again, as late as 1492, the Moroccan Empire. An empire has several nation states in it. We didn't say the Moroccan nation. We said the Moroccan Empire. There is a difference. The little North African country known as Morocco is a nation. We're talking about the Moroccan Empire. Includes nations today known as Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, Tripoli, Spain, the United States, Canada, Mexico, and the countries in Central and South America. All of these nations were under one flag and one constitution until European domination. There is not now, nor has there ever been, a black man on the face of the earth. Black, according to science, means death. Negro is the name of a river in West Africa. Colored means something changed from its original color. Ethiopia means something divided. Let me stop right here on Ethiopia because that's going to throw some people. First of all, I know somebody is saying, well, wait a minute, brother, there's a nation state over in Africa named Ethiopia. I know. Just like your name today is black, just like your name today is African American, just like your name yesterday was Negro, and before that it was colored, and now you just refer to yourself today in modern terms as a straight up nigger. Just like things are named, which is a misnomer, so is black. Black is an adjective in English, which describes a noun. A noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. So if you are a person, if you are a noun, in order to make it a proper noun, what is the noun that the adjective black is describing? So if I say, go get me a pair of black, adjective, tennis shoes, noun, you know exactly what to bring me back. Some black tennis shoes. Black being the adjective, the color of the noun, which is tennis shoe. Hopefully that makes sense. So what is our prophet telling us? There is not now, nor has there ever been, a black man. Notice, man, it don't tell you. It just tells you it's a man. What is his nationality? I don't know. On the face of the earth, black, according to science, means death. What science? Political science. So don't get it twisted for the brothers and sisters that, we're black men. Okay, but a black according to political science, and that's what we're talking about. Political science means death. Means you have no rights that no one is bound to respect. Give you a reference. Since we like to Google things, go Google the Tom Joyner show with President Obama. President Obama said twice, back to back, black has no standing in law. And before President Obama became President Obama, he was a constitutional lawyer at Harvard. Constitutional lawyer. Black has no standing in law. I get it. I know you don't believe that. I'm going to prove it. Okay. Negro is the name of a river in West Africa. Colored means something changed from its original color. Ethiopia means something divided. Now that's where I stop. So I'm right back on Ethiopia. Ethiopia is not the name of that country. The name of the country is Abyssinia. But where the pyramid of Giza sits right now, which is in modern day Egypt of the East. Did you catch that? Egypt of the East, which would imply that there's an Egypt of the West. Yes, you're standing in the Egypt of the West. Egypt of the East, where the pyramid of Giza sits right now. If you look, that pyramid, number one, faces true north. It is, I think it's 1 degree off true north. Ooh, the mathematics is Islam and Islam is mathematics, and it can be proven in any limit of time. Okay, so that pyramid, the pyramid of Giza, sits at true north. It points true north, but it also divides the earth. It also divides the earth, 24,896 square miles of planet Earth, into 4 equal quarters. You follow me? And if you read your circle 7, you will see how father and son, it says Ethiopia is subdivided, as you see here. So you got Cush and Ham dividing up the earth. But what's on one side of the Atlantic, the family that's over there is the same family that's on the west side of the Atlantic. Please follow me. I'm going pretty quick. You're not going to get it all. I'm not going to break it down into mouth-sized little morsels today because I got some information I want to get to. Okay. There is only one race, the human race, which is subdivided into 2 races. This should be self-explanatory. One is the Asiatic race and the other is European. That's it. Everything else is an offshoot of those 2. All the darker nations comprise the Asiatic race. Asiatic people are olive complexion, varying in shades from deep to light olive. The European race is comprised of all the pale-skinned nations of Europe. Hello? According to international law, each man is recognized and identified by his nationality. Wait a minute. Did you catch that? According to international law, each man is recognized and identified by his nationality. There is no such thing as a Negro, Black, colored man, or Ethiopian. These names were given to the slaves by slaveholders in 1774 and were outlawed in 1865 by a constitutional amendment, 13th Amendment with 20 sections. The so-called black man is in actuality a descendant of Moroccans from the ancient Moroccan Empire. Just wanted to add emphasis to that. Just did it again for emphasis. According to international law, each man is recognized and identified by his nationality. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, but you cannot proclaim what you don't know. What is your nationality? In the last tier law in Act 6, Prophet Noble Drew Ali tells you what your nationality is, so you ain't got to get excited. We'll cover it one more again, okay? The Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Hopefully, it's connecting the dots and making sense for you. Okay. Now, according to international law, each man is recognized and identified by his nationality. Slave brands are not recognized. I say again, slave brands are not recognized. What do you mean? What do you mean, Deputy Sheik? What do you mean? Well, let's see. They must know they are part and parcel of this said government and know that they are not slave brands, Negroes, colored folks, black people or Ethiopians, because these names were given to the slaves by the slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. Hopefully that makes sense. Back at it. Okay. Any man can be a citizen of any country as long as he is within the boundaries of the law. That is the problem. We are outside of the law, clinging to names and principles that delude to slavery. He must bear a passport proving his nationality. Uh-oh. An Irishman becoming a citizen in this country is an Irish American. A Greek will become a Greek American, etc. How about Moorish American? How about that? Is it starting to make sense now? Where did the black or Afro-American come from? Point to it on a map. Show me. There is nothing on the African continent black. Nothing. 54 nation states. Where is the black nation? Try the so-called Middle East. Where is the black nation over there? How about Asia? Let's go there. Where's the black nation over there? The only time you see the black flag is on the Roach can. Black flag. Death. The constitutional amendment that ruled all slave brands out is the 13th Amendment with 20 sections. This law passed both houses of Congress and was signed into law by President Lincoln on February the 1st, 1865. This law provided compensation, money, to both the slaveholder and the slave. What? I didn't get any money. You're not a Moorish American. You didn't go through the lawful process. Our people, 50 million of them, are clinging to names and principles that delude to slavery. So the 13th Amendment with 20 sections does not apply to you. Land over 22 states for the purpose of colonization. We were to be colonized between the Allegheny and Rocky Mountain ranges, those 22 states. We were to be naturalized, educated as to our true identity and history. Wait a minute, as to our true identity and history. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they must know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to the slaves by the slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. Now, in 1865, wasn't that the conclusion of the Civil War? I'm just coming at it several different ways, and I'm moving kind of quick because I need you to understand what is going on, what has happened. Now, I need you to follow what I'm going to say next. Let me get this scrolled up here. The constitutional amendment that ruled all slave brands out is the 13th Amendment with 20 sections, affectionately known as the 1320. This law passed both houses of Congress and was signed into law by President Lincoln on February the 1st, 1865. This law provided compensation, money, to both the slaveholder and the slave, land over 22 states for the purpose of colonization and naturalization, education as to our true identity and history. Every nation has a history. As a result of conspiracy, because I know you sitting there going, I've never heard this before. I've never heard of a 13th Amendment with 20 sections. I know, And believe me, it's not the 13th Amendment with 2 sections that is currently on the books right now, even though the United States Supreme Court ruled in a landmark decision, 109 U.S. 3, that the 13th Amendment with 2 sections, 14th and 15th Amendments, were all void, unconstitutional, not valid, illegal, unlawful. You ain't never heard that either. But it's not what I say, it's what I can prove. All the European did was sweep it under the rug. So right along with that law and those fraudulent amendments, right along with that court case, 109 U.S. 3 from the United States Supreme Court, he swept your nationality and true identity under the rug with it. Yes, he did. As a result of a conspiracy. It is a conspiracy from the highest office in the land. That's why 50 million so-called Black people are walking around with a slave brand and identifying with a slave brand today as a result of a conspiracy. This law has never been carried out. Now we're trying to carry it out, but it is near impossible to get you to let go of the slave brand because you have an emotional tie to the slave brand because you have been socially engineered. You have been taught that this is who you are. All I need you to do is think for a minute, brother and sister, and use your common sense. The Chinese have been the Chinese as long as you have been on the planet. The Koreans have been the Koreans as long as you have been on the planet. The British have been the British as long as you have been on the planet. I don't care if you've been here 90 years. I don't care if you're 65. I don't care if you're 55. I don't care if you're 35. You cannot show me nowhere where these people's nationality and identity has changed. But yet I can go into our history real quick and show you at one point in time in a very short period after the year 1555, I can show you where our identity has went from colored, then it evolved into Negro, then it evolved into Black, and now it is African American. 4 very distinct changes to the identity of one people in the United States. Due to a conspiracy. This law has never been carried out. This is also why President Lincoln was assassinated. I bet you they didn't tell you that in school. The 13th Amendment with 2 sections was inserted in its place. In the place of what? The 13th Amendment with 20 sections? With the same vote count, 38-6 in the Senate in 1864 and 119-56, 8 not voting. January 31st, 1865, then it was ratified on November the 18th, 1865 by 3/4 of the several states, which made it law. Wait a minute. Ratified. 13th Amendment with 20 sections was ratified November the 18th, 1865 by 3/4 of the several states, which made it law. Now it, the 13th Amendment with 20 sections, is a permanent part of the free national constitution. Did you catch that? The 13th Amendment with 20 sections, which substantiates the 4 proclamations of Abraham Lincoln, and gives us everything we need as a people to be an independent nation was ratified on November the 18th, 1865 by 3/4 of the several states, which made it law. It is the law of the land right now, but you don't know that because Europeans, or affectionately white folks, swept it under the rug. Not going to talk about it, not going to mention it, not going to print it in any books. We're not going to do anything. We're not even going to talk about this law. Count as the 13th Amendment with 20 sections. The only way you can actually trace that amendment is according to bill number SR 16. Hold on. The only way you can actually trace that amendment is according to bill number SR 16. Now, obviously, if it's printed in our naturalization orientation handbook, then we can trace the law and have traced it. There were several 13th Amendments introduced, but the 13th Amendment with 20 sections was finally decided upon. The several states never properly ratified the existing 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. Let's keep it moving. I just wanted to put that out there on the record so that you will know. You gotta get your study in. Now, I did a presentation, but I left off the Hebrew law on the last demonstration, so I'm gonna deal with it right now. See, what's going on? We had a slavery issue. They was trying to figure out, how do we make these slaves citizens? Because their nationality has been stripped. In 1774, we fought a civil war. It was fought over slavery. It was fought over states' rights. All of that was going on. So President Lincoln was in a tough spot. How do we make these people citizens? They said, wow. In the Senate, this was being a raging debate. So March 31st, 1864. So now this is a few months prior to the 13th Amendment with 20 sections being ratified. Notice that. Notice that. Let me do it again. Look at that. November the 18th, 1865. March 31st, 1864. They're debating it in the Senate here, and it passed law and became law here. Are you following? Are you following? So now, we're not going to read the whole thing, but this is dealing with common law. This is dealing with what our Christian folks call the Bible, which is law, just in case you thought I was playing. Because I know some of you are like, what you mean is law? Okay, I'm gonna get it for you. Hold on, right there. This is from the United States Supreme Court. Robin versus Hardaway, 1790. Biblical law at common law supersedes all laws, and Christianity is custom. Custom is law. So now the Supreme Court says common law, biblical law, supersedes all law. Okay, now that we got that established, let's get back to the Hebrew code. This is the Hebrew code. Now, it says they were debating, remember, they're debating this in the Senate. See what it says right there? See what it says right there? And especially of the title to services of the adult offspring of a slave at common law. At common law. Because back then, that was the law of the land. I'm gonna hit these points kind of fast. Watch the video again if you don't get it. I remarked, said he. Remember, this is in the Senate, the United States Senate. I remarked, said he, in this connection, that the Levitical code, the what? The Levitical code or Hebrew or the Hebrew law. See how it go together? The Levitical code or the Hebrew law, not the Negro law, not the African American law, not the black law, the Hebrew law contains a provision for the naturalization of foreigners, whether captives of war or voluntary immigrants, by compliance with the requirements of this law. What law? The Hebrew law. They, what they? These people running around with the slave brands of Negro, Black, Colored, African American, Ethiopian, etc. They become citizens entitled to all the rights and privileges and immunities of native Hebrews. This was debated in the Senate, 1864. I remarked, said he, in this connection that the Levitical code or the Hebrew law contains a provision for the naturalization of foreigners. What? It didn't say for the nationalization of foreigners. It didn't say nationalization. It said naturalization of foreigners. Well, you should get your Black's Law Dictionary out and look up the lawful definition of naturalization to see what is actually being communicated. So I'm going to get my Black's Law Dictionary 5th edition out, and we're going to get after the lawful definition of naturalization, because we want to make sure that we understand what is actually being communicated to us. So naturalization is that process, okay, that process by which a person acquires nationality after birth and becomes entitled to the privileges of citizenship. So now let's read it like this. I remarked, said he, in the connection that the Levitical code or the Hebrew law contains a provision for the naturalization or the process by which a person acquires nationality after birth and becomes entitled to the privileges of citizenship so that they can become citizens entitled to all the rights and privileges and immunities of the native Hebrews. Does that make sense? Hopefully so. You say, what? This, I can't believe this. Believe it. See? Believe it. Because that's the whole issue. When, come on, Black people, come on, African Americans, come on, Mexicans, come on, Native Americans, as you are called, so-called Indian. Come on, talk to me. When did you comply with the requirements of this law, since you are living in the Western Hemisphere? When? What date did you comply with it? You haven't. That's my point. So if you haven't complied with the Levitical code or the Hebrew law, and this is now the law of the land concerning our ancestors and our people, you're just out of order. This is why you are suffering all that you are suffering, because you don't understand how the government has changed forms. You don't understand the laws that must be enforced. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, not what I said, Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, we must enforce the law to save the nation. We must enforce the law to save the nation. But you can't enforce what you don't know. And what law is Prophet Noble Drew Ali talking about specifically? What specific laws must we enforce, not only to save the nation, but to save yourself? It does absolutely no good to know this information if you are not going to enforce it. It does absolutely no good to sit around at the barbershop and talk about, yeah, brother, it's the 13th Amendment with 20 sections, but yet you are not personally in a position of safety. Keep it moving. I'm not going to beat you up. I'm going to keep it moving. Just watch the video again if you don't get it. So again, here we go. Hold on. I don't want to go to the warning just yet. I want to get to prophet makes plea to the nation. We're going to get to the warning in just a minute. Because see, first you get a plea. The prophet is appealing to your sense of reason. You see, get a plea first. Make a plea to the nation. And then the prophet came back and said, okay, this was going to happen if you don't do what I'm divinely instructing you to do. We're going to get to it. The prophet makes plea to the nation. Again, this Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of this awesome organization, the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America. Our divine and national movement stands for the specific grand principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And I, the prophet, am applying to all loyal, faithful Moors, comma, members, comma, and the American citizens to help me in my great uplifting acts of uplifting falling humanity among the Asiatic race and nation. Aha, we already covered what encompasses the Asiatic race and those nations that encompass that. For I have suffered much and severely in the past through misunderstanding of what the movement was dedicated to, the uplift of fallen humanity, and to make us more genius citizens, to bring us in line with the laws of the land so that we can have constitutional protection. It is the great God Allah alone that guides the destiny of this divine and national movement. I know all true American citizens are identified by national descent names. Your national descent name is Moorish American. To answer and apply to the free national constitution. Well, the free national constitution is the first 7 articles of the original constitution. And the way that you apply to the free national constitution is you must go through a naturalization process. Okay, so let's come again. It is the great God Allah alone that guides the destiny of this divine and national movement. I know all true American citizens are identified by national descent names. To answer and apply to the free national constitution of this free national republic. He didn't say democracy. He said a republic, Article 4, Section 4 of the free national constitution. All states must be governed by a republican form of government. I don't know what a democracy is. I don't know what you're talking about. And then he tells you a national republic of the United States of America. That's why I am calling on all true national citizens to help me morally and financially in my great work I am doing to help this national government. For without a free national name, Moorish American, with a descent flag of your forefathers, that would be the flag with the green star on it, there is not a national divine title of the government in which we live. This is from your true and divine prophet unto all American and foreign sympathizers, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Now, if you don't believe that, it's okay with Deputy Sheik. I don't care. I'm just presenting the information to you. It's your job to apply what is being demonstrated. You want to apply it, good for you. You don't want to apply it, you don't have any faith in it, you don't believe that Prophet Noble Drew Ali is who I say he is, It's okay. But when the destruction and oppression comes your way, I want you to have that same level of zeal that you had in telling us that you don't believe Prophet Noble Drew Ali is who we said he is. And I want you to deal with Great White Father. That's what I want you to do. Leave me alone. Now we gonna get to the warning. See, I'm not gonna go through this whole thing. Pick it up and read it for yourself. But we are gonna cover some stuff. Notice I'm still in the prophet's literature. You ain't seen me jump outside of that yet. The citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitutions, are of all one family bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classified or classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names, abuses, and mistreatment that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and principles that delude to slavery. Let me stop right here. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names, abuses, and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. Are we abused? Are we mistreated in this society? What is the political status of Black people in what is called the United States? What is the status of people who are calling themselves Indians in the Western Hemisphere? What is their political status? How are they living? Mistreatment. Are they being mistreated? Are they wearing inferior names voluntarily? What do you mean an inferior name? Let's get at it. I'm gonna keep cramming this down your throat. What do I mean by an inferior name? Right here. And know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians. Inferior names, misnomers. That which does not properly identify what you are looking at. I'm gonna come at it several different ways so that you get it. Let's keep on. I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and go back, and to go back to the state of mind to their forefathers, divine and national principles, that they will be law-abided and receive their divine rights as citizens. Hello? According to the free national constitution, the first 7 articles that was prepared for all free national beings, Moorish Americans, that they are to claim their own free national name and religion, Islamism. All that got to be on the record. That's what proclaim means. Widely known, widely spread by governmental authority. Don't leave that part off. By governmental authority. I already covered that. There is but one issue for them. Them who? All of these people clinging to names and principles that delude to slavery. All of these people that are wearing inferior names. All these people who have been classified with a misnomer. Blacks, Negroes, coloreds, African Americans, Ethiopians, etc. There is but one issue for them: to be recognized by this government, which means you have to proclaim your nationality in order to be recognized by this government and of the earth. And that comes only through the connection of the Moorish Divine and National Movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. And through it, they and their children can receive their divine rights unmolested by other citizens. What? It comes only through the connection of the Moorish Divine and National Movement, which is incorporated in this government. It's an extension. It's an extension of the federal government, the Moorish American National Republic. Hello? One government, two jurisdictions. There ain't but one man upholding the Republican form of government. I ain't say a group, I said one man upholding this. One organization upholding the Republican form of government, Article 4, Section 4 of the Free National Constitution. You understand? You got it, you got to get it. Let me jump down. Let me jump down. Now, they can cast a free national ballot to the polls under the free national constitution of the United States government. Free national constitution. And not under a granted privilege. That's what civil rights is, people, just in case you didn't know. Civil rights is a granted privilege, means somebody has acted upon you. They're giving you something. It's a privilege. It's not a right. See, human rights are divine rights, sovereign rights, which come from the Creator. A granted privilege comes from your open slave master. I'm going to make it real plain. A granted privilege comes from your state legislature. A granted privilege comes from a corporate entity called the United States. I did not say the United States of America. I said the United States. Granted privilege. Granted privileges come from your local police department. If they feel like letting you roll today, good. If they don't feel like letting you roll today, then they just deal with you. Granted privilege, which has been an existing condition for many generations. See? Yeah, you can go here, you can go there. Papers, please. You can't go here, you can't go there. Because you don't have any rights, you have granted privileges because you keep clinging to names and principles that allude to slavery. And when we check your name in the system and we run your name and we run your social, you are filling out paperwork that alludes to slavery. Let's keep it moving. And again, brothers and sisters, as I said before, if anything that we're saying here today or that we have said, period, is unlawful, illegal, point it out to me. Point it out to me. Let me keep it moving. I don't have time to go through the 3-page document, but it is the most illuminating 3-page document that you will ever read if you take time to read it. Now, I love my people and I desire their unity and mine back to their own free national and divine standard. Their own free national and divine standard. Because day by day, they have been violating the national and constitutional laws of their government by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. You see why things are happening to us? If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national names and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, the Republic for which it stands, Article 4, Section 4 of the Free National Constitution, all states shall be governed by a Republican form of government. It is no more than right that the law be forced upon all American citizens alike. In all other governments, when a man is born and reared there and asks his name and national descent and fails to give it, he is misused, in prison, or exiled. All this is happening to black folks right now. Any group of people that fails to answer up to the constitutional standards of law by name and principle, because to be a citizen of any government, you must claim your national descent name, because they place their trust upon issue and names that they are not a part and parcel of, and neither were they formed by their forefathers. The word Negro alludes in Latin language to the word nigger, the same as the word color alludes to anything that is painted, stained, varnished, or dyed. Every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers, because honoring their forefathers and their mothers, your days will be lengthened upon this earth. These names have never been recognized by a true American citizen of this day. I hope you're getting this. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized said national government in which they live. Hold up. Through your free national name, Moorish American, on the record, because you proclaim your nationality, so that now Moorish American is widely known, widely spread by governmental authority. You are now recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized said national government in which they live. Pay attention to this part. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in unit, placing the Southerner, which was at that time without power, with the constitutional body of power. What do you mean? They was with the Southerner who was without power. That's what we fought the Civil War about. They had to bring their constitutions, their state constitutions, in line with the free national constitution. They were in a state of rebellion. So please do not tell me that the Southern states, as they were called, the states under the Confederacy, were in rebellion to the free national constitution, which is the first 7 articles of the original Constitution. Please do not tell me the Confederacy was in rebellion to the free national constitution, but the people that were living within those states in the Confederacy were not in rebellion. Because you had Europeans and Asiatics in the Confederacy. So if the Confederacy was in rebellion to the free national constitution, that means that the people living in the Confederacy were also in rebellion to the free national constitution. Please do not tell me that the people, the Europeans living in the Confederacy, had to take an oath of amnesty and reconstruction to align themselves back under the free national constitution so that they could be afforded constitutional protection. Please do not tell me the Europeans did that, but the Asiatics living in the Confederacy didn't have to do that. That's just dumb. If the Europeans living in the Confederacy had to take the oath of amnesty and reconstruction to get back afforded constitutional protection, then the Asiatics who were living in the Confederate States in the Confederacy also had to take the oath of amnesty and reconstruction, not only to become a citizen, but also to have constitutional protection. Not only were they supposed to proclaim their nationality because they didn't have it, because it was stripped in 1774 back there at the Continental Convention, you see, Don't tell me it didn't go down like that, because we can prove that it actually did. You didn't take the oath. To this day, Asiatics have not taken the oath. Why? Because it was a conspiracy. Have not taken the oath. Why do you think when you go to what is affectionately called the South right now in 2023, you see Europeans riding around with the Confederate battle flag on their pickup trucks, on all the state capitals, everywhere? The battle flag is still flying, because the European is trying to tell you, big dummy, we have not been compensated. The law of the land, the 1320 with its 13th Amendment with its 20 sections, has not been enforced. And ain't nobody getting free until the Asiatic, the Moorish Americans, get compensated, colonized, educated, and naturalized. It ain't gonna be no peace nowhere for nobody in the Western Hemisphere. Take it or leave it. And again, if I'm saying something out of pocket, can you please point that out to me? Because I'm sitting here reading Prophet Noble Drew Ali's warning of 1930. First, the prophet made a plea to the nation. You know, that's like an invitation. Hello, come on, let's get it together. And now he's telling you in the warning this was going to happen if you don't get it together. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized said national government in which they live. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in unity. Notice he did not mention the 13th. Not at all. So what is these white folks talking about with this 13th Amendment with two sections? And 14th and 15th Amendments that's on the books right now. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in unit, placing the Southerner, which was at that time without power, with the constitutional body of power. And at that time, 1865, now he talked about 1865 in Act 6. The free national constitutional law that was in force since 1774, which takes you back to the Union. It also takes you back to the Articles of Association. Declared all men equal and free. So if it declared all men equal and free back in 1774, then let's keep it moving. 1774 declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, it has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendment for the salvation of our people and citizens. He's telling you there's no need for it. Notwithstanding that the Supreme Court ruled 109 U.S. 3, 13th Amendment with two sections, 14th and 15th Amendments unconstitutional, void, illegal, and has no validity whatsoever. 3 dead badges of law. Out. But oh no, the Asiatics, because they don't know this law, they don't know what laws to enforce to save the nation and themselves, we're going to hold on to that 14th Amendment. We're going to hold on tight. So they tell you in the public school system, they tell you that the 13th Amendment abolished involuntary servitude. They tell you that the 14th Amendment gives you your so-called citizenship. And the 15th Amendment, what does that do for you? That establishes your so-called voting rights. Well, let me ask you a question. If the 15th Amendment establishes your voting rights, why is it that the President of the United States has to renew the Voting Rights Act every 20 years? Who is this 13th Amendment with 2 sections, 14th Amendment and 15th Amendment written for? Who does this apply to? If Prophet Noble Drew Ali says that the 14th and 15th Amendments do not apply to us. He never mentioned the 13th Amendment because, again, the law of the land is the 13th Amendment with its 20 sections, ratified November 18th, 1865 by 3/4 of the several states, and it is law right now. I just need you to get it. I just need you to get it. I'm gonna stop right there. Hopefully that made sense. We're gonna keep it moving. Again, you got to get this orientation, this naturalization handbook at our website, MoorishAmericanNationalRepublic.com. Buy it, read it, study it, and apply. Apply it. We're gonna keep it moving. Now, some people out here like, what? One government, two jurisdictions. I don't understand. There you go. There you go. This is the United States Supreme Court again. The idea prevails with some. Indeed, it has expression in arguments at the bar that we have in this country substantially 2 national governments. One to be maintained under the Constitution, that would be the Free National Constitution, first 7 articles, with all of its restrictions. The other to be maintained by Congress. That one that's being maintained, that Constitution that's being maintained by Congress, that came into existence with the Organic Act of 1871, when they put a government in the District of Columbia. I know you like, what? 2 governments, that ain't what's happening. That is exactly what's happening. I'm gonna prove it to you. I know. All day. Do this all day. An act to provide a government for the District of Columbia. February 21st, 1871. Remember I said the Union is perpetual. It can't be removed. They cannot remove the United States of America. Can't. So they said, well, we know we can't remove the United States of America, the republic for which it stands, Article 4, Section 4 of the Free National Constitution. We know we can't get rid of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to trick everybody. We're going to establish a government in the District of Columbia. Guess what we're going to call it? We're going to call it the United States. What? It will be a corporate body in the District of Columbia, which is a 10 square mile area. And we're going to call it the United States. We're going to drop off corporate because that might wake you up if it said United States Incorporated. You'd be like, that ain't the republic. So they call it the United States, not the United States of America. Check out their verbiage. Check out their verbiage when they write stuff on paper. They don't ask you if you're a citizen of the United States of America. They ask you, are you a U.S. citizen? Are you a United States citizen? That's what they ask you on every document you got. Are you a U.S. citizen? Are you a U.S. citizen? Are you a U.S. citizen? You don't see United States of America on none of their documents when it comes to citizenship. They may ask you, are you a national? Are you a national of the United States? See, now they're playing word games. So you have to be very careful on how you are filling out paperwork, because this is a paperwork of forms. Everything you want in society, you have to fill out a form. You have to fill out a piece of paper to get whatever you're trying to get. So if you're trying to apply for a mortgage, they got about 30 pieces of paper you need to fill out to get you a mortgage, even though it's illegal. You want Social Security benefits, we got another form for you to fill out for Social Security benefits. You want access, you want free Medicare and healthcare, we got forms for that. Everything is paperwork. You want food stamps, we got an EBT card, we got a form for that. You want a job, I understand you got to make some wages. I understand, I didn't say income, I said wages. That's going to come back in a few minutes. You want compensation, We got a form for that. You want wages on a job? We got a job application for that. Everything is paperwork. You just had a child, we got a birth certificate. You got to fill out paperwork, get a birth certificate for that, which puts you in the United States jurisdiction. You're a U.S. citizen. I get it. You're doing it to ourselves. We're doing it to ourselves with paperwork. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. So based on how you fill out the paperwork, you enslave yourself. Based on how you fill out the paperwork, you free yourself. But if we gave you the paperwork to free yourself and you didn't take it and put it on the record, you didn't proclaim your nationality so that it's widely known, widely spread by governmental authority, then you're still a slave on paper. And every time you interact with a government agency, don't they ask you to identify yourself first? The police do not even talk to you. I like picking on the police because we're afraid of them. The police do not talk to you until and unless you self-identify. The conversation don't even start until you personally self-identify. Let me give you an idea of how the conversation goes. It goes like this. Can I see your driver's license? That's how the conversation don't start until they do that. Until they ask you that question. Based on what you say and do next will depend on how they deal with you. Based on what you say and what you do next will depend on how this thing goes, how this interaction between you and the police goes. If you identify as a slave, they got a certain conversation for you. If you identify as one of the members that make up the lawful definition of sovereign people, they have another conversation for you. Now, if you identify as a slave, the conversation is going to be very short and sweet. If you identify and make up the definition of sovereign people, they're going to try to get you back under their jurisdiction. They got to ask you a couple of more questions. This is where you're going to have to stand up on your square. Again, remember I said in previous demonstrations that ultimately a circumstance is going to come up in your life where the only way you are going to get through that circumstance is by having this information in your head and standing up on that information. See, it ain't good enough. It's not enough just to have the information in your head. You must now stand up on that information. You must now enforce the law to save the nation and yourself. You got to do it. Now, if enforcing this information brings up fear because you are afraid to say anything to governmental authority because you really don't believe in what you have been taught, what you have been shown. If you don't really believe that, then it would be best for you to stay a United States citizen and leave us alone. Leave the information alone. Take your paperwork that was issued by our Moorish Bureau of Vital Statistics and burn it. The reason I said burn it is that way now it's not in your possession, because you obviously have fear in your head. You think that someone is going to kick in your front door and drag you out in the middle of the night, as the German government did to the so-called Jews in Germany. That's your fear. Leave this alone, brother and sister. Take your paperwork and burn it. Put it, you don't want to burn it, put it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, and mail it back to Baltimore. Just mail it back. Say thank you, but no thank you. Take your nationality card and burn it. I notice everybody that's terrified to put their nationality on the record, though, I notice you don't let go that paperwork. Why is that? Why you don't let go the paperwork? Why is it that you verbally say the paperwork don't work, but you don't send it back? Why are you holding on to it? You don't burn it. You hold on to it. You're not going to use it, so send it back. Get rid of it. Ain't that what you did with your spouse when things wasn't working out? Didn't you get rid of your spouse? It's called a divorce. You got rid of that. You were smart enough to do that. Why you don't let go of the paperwork? Moving on. Just putting some things on your mind. So now, what is going on with this right here? Hold on, let me get it. What's going on? One government, two jurisdictions. What I'm trying to do, everybody that has not proclaimed their nationality, you're on the right side of your screen. You're in the United States jurisdiction. I did not say the United States of America. You are in the United States jurisdiction. That's where the federal codes are. United States Code, such and such, and so and so. That's where the IRS is. That's where the Department of Treasury is. That's where you get the point. Over here on the left, that's the United States of America. That's the republic for which it stands. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for white. White is a legal status. It is not pigmentation of skin. Get out your feelings. White in English is an adjective. It describes a noun. The noun that white would be describing would be Greek, Italian, British, Bosnian. You feel me? Those are all Europeans. Ukrainians, Russians, all Europeans. See? But on this side over here is the Asiatics on the left. On this side on the right is the Europeans. One government, two jurisdictions. The problem is you are in the wrong jurisdiction. So you are suffering all the abuses and travesties that the Europeans can put upon you. You say, I don't believe that. That's not true. That's not what's happening. I'm going to prove it right now. Let me get some up on the screen. Hold on. Hold on. I need to entertain a couple of lies that have been told to us as a collective group. I got to find it though. Here we go. Does anybody know who this is? Does anybody know who this is? This is our brother Dred Scott. Now, I want you to understand something. I'm going through these demonstrations and I'm putting the tangibility on the screen. And I told you we were the victims of a conspiracy way back in the era of slavery, back there in 1865. I showed you where laws were passed and vote counts in the Senate. And I know because you have not personally seen white folks come out and tell you that this is what's happening in terms of law, you like, I can't believe that. I don't believe that. So I took the liberty of doing what Negroes love to do. They love to Google things. This is how we do our quote unquote research. We Google things. See? Look what Wikipedia brought back. You can't trust Wikipedia, brothers and sisters. Crazy. Anybody could have put this information up here. They didn't fact check nothing. I say again, they did not fact check anything. They omitted certain things and put certain things in. The question is why? Because they knew a lazy, trifling people would come back and Google everything. They make it real easy for you. And then we stand up on the Google search the Wikipedia like it's law. We ain't read no law books. We ain't read no law dictionary. We ain't went into the Library of Congress. We ain't did none of that. We just Googling stuff. So let's see what it says about this Dred Scott situation. This is, again, Wikipedia from 1790. Isn't that the year George Washington took office? Ooh-wee. So I need you to understand this. In 1790, there was no such thing as a corporate entity called the United States, situated in the District of Columbia. I need you to get that. In 1790, we still had a Republican form of government, fully functional. From 1790 into the mid-20th century, United States law used racial criteria to establish citizenship, rights, and regulate who was eligible to become a naturalized citizen. Remember, I said way back there in my demonstration that we did not comply with the Hebrew law. We did not go through a naturalization process. Remember, the 13th Amendment with 20 sections said that, hey, this law ratified November the 18th, 1865 by 3/4 of the several states. Remember that? There was compensation, there was colonization, and naturalization, that process by which one acquires nationality after birth, that process which all the Negroes, African American, Black folks have not went through in 2023, not one yet. Still waiting on you. But anyway, from 1790 into the mid-20th century, United States law governs all affairs, use racial criteria to establish citizenship rights, and regulate who was eligible to become a naturalized citizen. The Naturalization Act of 1790, the same year George Washington took office, the first law in U.S. history to establish rules for citizenship and naturalization. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4 of the Free National Constitution, to establish a uniform rule of naturalization, barred citizenship to all people who were not of European descent. Hello? Stating that any alien being a free white person, go look up the lawful definition of free white person in Law Dictionary, Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. Look up the lawful definition of free white person. Who shall have resided within the limits and under the jurisdiction of the United States for the term of 2 years may be admitted to becoming a citizen thereof. Pay attention, Black people. Under early U.S. laws, African Americans, notice, they gave you the label that you identify with today. Under early U.S. laws, African Americans were not eligible for citizenship. Well, first of all, there was no such thing as an African American in 1790. Let's get that straight. There was no such thing as an African American in 1865 at the conclusion of the Civil War. African American is a Johnny-come-lately misnomer coined by Jesse Jackson in the 1980s. So under early U.S. laws, African Americans were not eligible for citizenship. In 1857, these laws were upheld in the U.S. Supreme Court case Dred Scott versus Stanford, which ruled that a free Negro of the African race, I don't know what an African race is, but that's apparently how this brother identified himself, whose ancestors were brought into this country and sold as slaves, is not a citizen within the meaning of the Constitution of the United States, and that the special rights and immunities guaranteed to citizens do not apply to them. Why? Because they are self-identifying with misnomers. This is not who they are. They are clinging to names and principles that delude to slavery. Therefore, they are not state citizens. Therefore, they have no constitutional protection at all, according to the free national constitution. They did not go through a process of naturalization. See, it said free Negro. Now, which are we, brother and sister? Are we Negroes? Are we Africans? Look at the verbiage. A free Negro of African race. Well, what is the African race? Since Africa is a continent. Did you catch it? Africa is a continent. 54 nation states on it. Which one are you from? Which is your national descent? Where? Who? Which one? Point it out to me. So again, it was not until the abolition of slavery, 1865, following the American Civil War, that African Americans, now I just told you wasn't no African Americans back then in the Civil War era. But look how they playing word games and word association, because they want you to feel included in this lie that they're getting ready to tell. It was not until the abolition of slavery following the American Civil War that African Americans were granted citizenship rights, granted privileges. Did not Prophet Noble Drew Ali tell you in his warning of 1928 that we had been operating under a granted privilege? Did he not tell you that? You thought I was playing? You thought Prophet Noble Drew Ali is a joke? You see how Allah looked out for us? Prophet Drew Ali told you that in 1928. So obviously you didn't straighten it out. Hold on, let's come at it again. It was not until the abolition of slavery following the American Civil War that African Americans were granted citizenship rights. Granted. Push you squarely under the 14th Amendment, and they acknowledged it. The 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, ratified July the 9th, 1868, let you tell it, stated that all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Stop right there. Where is that verbiage? Where is that verbiage specifically? Is it in the 14th Amendment? Does it say that in the 14th Amendment? Have you looked up the lawful definition of the 14th Amendment? Huh? They telling you in a lie that this is what granted African Americans their citizenship. And they told you that came at the abolition of slavery, at the end of the Civil War. Right? Ain't that what it said? And that was in 1865. So pull my coat on this. Why did the United States Supreme Court in 1883, after the Civil War, say that the 13th Amendment with two sections, 14th and 15th Amendments, were three dead badges of law, unconstitutional, and had no validity whatsoever? They didn't tell you that part in the little Wikipedia page, did they? They didn't tell you that part in the Wikipedia page, did they? See? But they tell you, no. Their rights, their citizenship is granted through the 14th Amendment. First of all, the 14th Amendment was not law, is not law. I'm going to prove it in just a second. Because that verbiage not only is in the 14th Amendment, hold on, because I know some of y'all like, what? Brother, come on now. Come on, Deputy Sheep. Come on now. It ain't in there. I know. See, y'all forced Deputy Sheep to go get this information and print it out, make it electronic so I can put it up on the screen so you can see it for yourself. You just forced me to do it because you ain't going to research nothing. It is amazing to me. You're just not going to do it. You're going to sit there and listen to me talk and then try to remember what I say, which you can't do it because I talk 2-3 hours at a time. You ain't going to remember everything. You got to look this stuff up for yourself. But for argument's sake, just so you can talk to your friends and tell them, look at the Black's Law Dictionary lawful definition of the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States, ratified in 1868, let you tell it, creates or at least recognizes for the first time a citizenship of the United States. Whoa! Hold on. Let's go there and then let's go here. At least recognizes a U.S. citizen for the first time. I'm going to keep doing this all day. Hold on. I'm not going to leave it alone. Let me get back to it. I lost it. Bear with me. Ooh, boy. Boom. The 14th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States, ratified in 1868, creates or at least recognizes for the first time a citizenship of the United States as distinct from that of the states. Why did it say that? Because when you read the Free National Constitution, it talks about state citizenship, states' rights. Isn't that what we fought the Civil War over? So you see how it's a conspiracy? You see how it's a conspiracy? Look at the tricky language. Creates or at least recognizes. Prophet Noble Drew Ali used that word recognize too. There's one issue, there's but for one issue for them to be recognized. So the question becomes, do you want to be recognized as a Moorish American? Do you want to be recognized as a human being, or do you want to be recognized as a U.S. citizen under this corporate entity that was put in the District of Columbia with the Organic Act of 1871? You want to be recognized as a U.S. citizen. It's up to you, brother and sister. I don't care. I don't care. See? This is real. This ain't how you feel. This is what the police are using. This is what the courts are using. You come in, the first thing they have you do in any court procedure is identify yourself. And based on your paperwork, they know exactly how to deal with you. Oh yeah, he's a 14th Amendment citizen. That's who he is. He's under the 14th Amendment. That's who he is. Where else is that verbiage? Act. Have you ever heard of a federal citizenship? Have you ever heard of a federal citizenship? I don't know. I'm just asking some questions. Because a federal citizenship is also a U.S. citizenship. Which puts you under that corporate entity, which makes you a legal fiction. Let's get at it. Lawful definition of federal citizenship. Rights and obligations occurring by reason of being a citizen of the United States. Hold on. Let me read it again. Let me read it again. Rights and obligations occurring by reason of being a citizen of the United States, which is on your screen. State or status of being a citizen of the United States. They said it twice. A person born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof is a citizen of the United States and of the state wherein he resides. 14th Amendment. 14th Amendment. It literally says 14th Amendment. Again, 14th Amendment rule unconstitutional by the United States Supreme Court, 109 U.S. 3, 1883. I ain't never seen it. So, of course, in your mind, seeing is believing, right? That's what some of you say. Seeing is believing, right? Okay, I'm going to help you since you want to go down this road. And one of the things, you should never go down the road with me. You should never call me out on it because I just get more and more excited as the day go on. I'm going to find what I'm looking for here in just a minute because I know I got it up here. You see who this is, right? I told y'all I don't do Google search. I did the Google search today for those who are lazy because that's all you're going to do, but you're not going to do this. You see it says United States of America. It don't say United States. It says United States of America. See, they know what the republic is. They know it's one government, two jurisdictions. They know this. They're not hiding it. It's in their writings. And then they hand you paperwork and make you fill it out based on your understanding. And you fill it out wrong every time. And then wondering why you suffering. You're doing it to yourself. So here we go. You see the year? This is the debate in the 90th Congress in 1967. We ain't going back to 1930. We ain't going back to 1865. They debated this in 1967. You see what it says? Let me magnify so everybody can see it. Hold on. Let me see if I can make it a little bigger for everybody. Nope. I need you to see the whole thing. So it says here, the 14th Amendment is unconstitutional, bottom right-hand corner of your screen. The 14th Amendment is unconstitutional. The purported 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution is and should be held to be ineffective, invalid, null, void, and unconstitutional for the following reasons. Now, first of all, African American, Black folks, Native Americans, people running around with names and principles that delude to slavery, people who have not proclaimed their nationality. First of all, this makes you a U.S. citizen. The U.S. Congress in 1967 says that which makes you a U.S. citizen. The 14th Amendment is held to be ineffective, invalid, null, void, and unconstitutional for the following reasons. The joint resolution proposing said amendment was not submitted to or adopted by a constitutional Congress. What? Article 2, Section 3, and Article 5 of the Free National Constitution. You know what Article 5 is, right? The Fifth Amendment. I plead the Fifth. Why is it unconstitutional? Because per the Fifth Amendment, you were supposed to be compensated. Remember I read that earlier? See, this is back when we had a real Supreme Court. They was like, nope, 13.2 violates the Fifth Amendment, so therefore it is not valid. I'm sorry, not the 13.2, the 14th Amendment, Section 4, denies compensation of property. Slaves are property. They struck it out. Let's continue. The joint resolution was not submitted to the president for his approval. Article 1, Section 7, Free National Constitution. The The proposed 14th Amendment was rejected by more than 1/4 of all of the states then in the Union. Not in the United States, in the Union, which is perpetual, which was set up by Moors. I need you to understand when they kick you to sleep, why they are doing what they're doing to you. They hate your shadow. You just out of order. And you like being a nigger. You just love it. The proposed 14th Amendment was rejected by more than 1/4 of all the states then in the Union, and it was never ratified by 3/4 of all the states in the Union. Again, Fifth Amendment. Remember, I said the 13th Amendment with 20 sections ratified November the 18th by 3/4 of the several states. November the 18th, 1865, which made it law. Remember that? Look at the Congress in 1860 and in 1967. Notice they ain't got no mention of a 1320. No mention at all. They know what the law of the land is. The problem is you don't know what the law of the land is. You don't do the research into the congressional record. You are Googling. You ain't gonna never find this stuff on Google. And they keep going with all these facts. You see? So the 14th Amendment, unconstitutional. 13th Amendment with 2 sections, unconstitutional. 15th Amendment, giving you your voting rights, giving your voting, unconstitutional. Supreme Court, 1883. See? Now, do the dates, do the math. Organic Act of 1871. They say, okay, we're going to re-enslave these people all over again. The United States Supreme Court comes back in 1883 and said, nope, not going to do it. But you keep contracting with the unlawful amendments, and you keep contracting with the unlawful United States corporation. That is why you are suffering what you are suffering. You're doing it to yourself because the unlawful corporation called the United States keeps handing you all these forms and you keep filling it out. Let's keep it moving. I'm not covering everything, but I'm going to cover enough. House Resolution 48, proposing an amendment to the Constitution of the United States, providing that the rights extended by the Constitution are the rights of natural persons only. You mean people that proclaim their nationality? People who got their nationality on the record? You mean people like that? People who are not clinging to names and principles that delude to slavery? See? I'm going to show you something. Resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled. Wait a minute. Hold on. Are you kidding me right now? Hold on. I want to show you something. I want to show you something about the verbiage and how they tricking you. Let me go back up here. Every time these people do an official anything, look what it says. United States of America. That is the republic. Okay. Resolved by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled, 2/3 of each house concurring therein. Notice when they do official stuff, they give you the vote count and all of that. That way you know 100% fact. Okay, this is law. That the following article is proposed as an amendment to the Constitution of the United States, which shall be valid to all intents and purposes as part of the Constitution when ratified by legislatures of 3/4 of the several states. 13th Amendment with 20 sections, ratified November 18th, 1865 by 3/4 of the several states, making it law. The rights protected by the Constitution of the United States are rights of natural persons only. Free national constitution. Artificial entities such as corporations, that's what the 14th Amendment makes you, a legal fiction, a corporate entity, not human. Limited liability companies and other entities established by the laws of any state, the United States, or any foreign state shall have no rights under this Constitution and are subject to regulations by the people through federal, state, or local law. Wait a minute. The privileges of artificial entities shall be determined by the people through federal, state, or local law and shall not be construed to be inherent or inalienable. So they're telling you, you don't have no inalienable rights if you clinging to names and principles that delude to slavery. You don't have any inalienable rights if you have been turned into, if you have allowed yourself to become a corporate entity. You don't have any inalienable rights if you have a federal citizenship. You don't have any inalienable rights if you have not proclaimed your nationality and put it on the record so that it is widely known, widely spread. You're out of luck. Let's keep it moving. I'm gonna wrap it up. Now, let me deal with this. So much. Y'all getting tired yet? I'm feeling fine myself. See what that says? This is a court order from our court. Order recognizing Moorish Americans as non-resident alien individuals. Stop right there. Order recognizing Moorish Americans as non-resident alien individuals. Point number 8. I'm going to keep drilling this on you because it's very serious. The intent of this order is to clarify the foreign status of Moorish American citizens, capital C, which are domiciled within the American landmass. America is a continent, people, north, south, and central, and the surrounding islands. All of that is the American landmass, and not within the United States. United States is the corporate entity that was put in the district, the government that was put in the District of Columbia with the Organic Act of 1871. The Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic, is a foreign entity. We are foreign with the right of self-autonomy as an indigenous tribal nation, according to the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. As Moorish American national, Moors are not U.S. citizens. That's the 14th Amendment. That's the federal citizenship. Moorish Americans are American citizens, which is not to be confused with the corporate and artificial U.S. citizen. The United States is a corporation, and with that being said, Moors are not U.S. citizens, employees of and for the United States Corporation. Moorish Americans are in trust with a foreign tribal entity, the Moorish Science Temple of America, which makes its members, foreign to the United States. But it don't make you foreign to the United States if you have not put that paperwork that we gave you on the record. Nope, got to go all the way through. Moorish Americans are American citizens because America is the landmass, while the United States is a federal corporation, according to Title 28 of the United States Code 3002, Section 15A, which states that the United States is a federal corporation and not a government, including the judiciary procedural section. Moorish Americans are one of the people of the original American Republic, for which it stands. Article 4, Section 4 of the Free National Constitution. All states shall be governed by a republican form of government, which is evident because Moors, as living flesh and blood, God sentient beings, and are not corporate artificial persons. The term persons, according to 26 United States Code 7701A1, shall be construed to mean, let me move this out the way, and include as individual, a trust, estate, partnership, association, company, or corporation. Okay. Do you get it? Do you get it? Let's escape out of this. There we go. Let's get out of this and let's deal with something else. I'm going to do this all day until you get it. I'm going to do this periodically until you get it. Because it don't make no sense the way we carrying on in the face of the tangibility in your face. Now, we talked about naturalization, and I talked about 1790, the same year George Washington took office. The Naturalization Act of 1790, enacted March 26, 1790, was a law of the United States Congress that set the first uniform rule for the granting of United States citizenship by naturalization. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4, to establish a uniform rule of naturalization. The law limited naturalization to free white persons of good character. So if you go to Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, and look up the lawful definition of free white persons, you'll see all of those included. Moors were included in that definition, that lawful definition of free white person. Now follow this. Remember, I told you this is Google search. This is Google. See? Now watch how I condemn us real quick. The law limited naturalization to free white persons of good character. Thus, let's see who it excludes. Let's see who it excludes. Let's see who's not allowed in the definition of free white persons. Let's see who's not able to do this. Let's see who must naturalize. Native Americans, misnomer. Indigent servants, slaves. Free blacks. You mean niggas that's walking around today, going where they want to go, doing what they want to do. But notice, you're not in the lawful definition of free white persons. Why? Because you did not naturalize. The Naturalization Act of 1790, enacted March 26, 1790, was a law of the United States Congress. You think they took it off the books? Or is it still there? You see why we checking white on all paperwork? Because it ties you back to the definition of free white persons. Goes along with your Moorish American nationality. Because Moors are included in the Naturalization Act of 1790. Are you getting it? You're not a slave. See? I'm going to leave it right there on your screen. Anywho, I'm going to come at it several different ways. So you will understand, like, whoa, I got to get myself together. Yes, you must get yourself together. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4, to establish a uniform rule of naturalization. This is the free national constitution. This ain't me. To establish a uniform rule of naturalization and uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcy throughout the United States. You're just out of order. You just out of order. Uh-huh. I'm just going tick by tick. And to add emphasis, here we go again. They, who is this they? Decided your name, you wearing somebody else's name. Your nationality, you got an American nationality, which is not, it don't exist. Your religion, most of you are Christians right now. Christianity was brought to these shores. There's nothing wrong with Christianity. But I just let you know that your ancestors didn't know nothing about that. Okay? Your tribe, and you spend the rest of your life defending something you didn't even choose. That's what you're doing right now. I try to tell you you ain't black. Woo! Got to fight you tooth and nail. I don't care if you got a PhD. Seem like the more education you got, the stupider you are. Because you've been trained. You ain't been educated. You've been trained. And a PhD is somebody, when you're a doctor so-and-so, you're supposed to be able to research things. You don't take things at face value. So you should know what a nationality is. You should know that all human beings are identified by national descent. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Again, for emphasis, with us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they must know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to the slaves by the slave holders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Now, so what you need and what you need to do is put yourself outside of that corporate entity that was created in 1871 with the Organic Act of 1871. That's what you need to do. Does that make sense? I hope so. Oh, I don't want to leave our brother right here alone, because many of us have Google stuff. You know what I'm saying? You Google stuff. That's what we do. And we come up with this page right here. You see? But that ain't how Deputy Sheik get down. See, I'm on a whole nother level with this. So let me show you something that you may know about. You may know about it, but you may not have seen it. You may not have seen it. So let me, hold on, I'm gonna find it. Give me a minute, bear with me. I got so many things open up on my screen. Ooh, let me find, I know I got it up here because I went digging in the crates for this. Because people ask me, you know, brother, why you talk the way you talk? Because see, you're not gonna spin me around with a Google search. I don't roll like that. I spend money to get what I want for tangibility purposes. Do you see what this says? Hold on, let me go back up here. You see what that says? Dred Scott, plaintiff in error. This is the United States Supreme Court decision. This is not a book. This is the actual Supreme Court decision concerning Dred Scott. And it's about 300 pages long. No, I take it back. You see it up there. It's 124 pages long. They didn't tell you all that. Now remember, the Dred Scott case is studied in law school. You cannot become an attorney without knowing the Dred Scott case and what it really was about. Now, when you read the Supreme Court decision, you will see why we are in the condition that we are in as a people. I'm not going to read it. I'm going to highlight some stuff. Hold on. See this right here? Let me tap it one time. Let's see if we can. Yep. Let's tap it one time. Let's tap it one time. See? The case in general is this. Dred Scott felt he was assaulted by his brother-in-law, a European. So an Asiatic, Dred Scott, was assaulted by his brother-in-law, a European, and he decided to sue his brother-in-law, Mr. Sanford, in the Missouri court jurisdiction. The case went to the state court in Missouri, the Supreme Court in Missouri. They found Mr. Sanford liable. The case then went to the United States Supreme Court. And you see what the United States Supreme Court said? Let's see what they said. Overview. The Supreme Court reversed the judgment for respondent and ordered the case dismissed for lack of jurisdiction. What? Petitioner, Mr. Dred Scott, was a slave of African descent. So when you read the 13th Amendment with 20 sections, section 12, it says Africans and the descendants of Africans shall not be citizens. And ignorant Moors on the internet, see right there, brother, right there, we can't be citizens. You got to nationalize. That's what you got to do. Shut up, fool. The Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites, according to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the man you claim to be following. He said you are descendants of the ancient Moabites, not Africans. Africa is a continent, dummy. They playing wordplay with you. And they're causing you to identify with things and names and principles that delude to slavery. The Supreme Court reversed the judgment for respondent and ordered the case dismissed for lack of jurisdiction. Petitioner Dred Scott was a slave of African descent. Where do you think they got that from? Dred Scott was a slave of African descent. Didn't I tell you that this is a government of forms? So in order for you to even go into a court, didn't you have to fill out paperwork? Didn't you have to self-identify? Isn't that what you have to do today? No government entity even talks to you until you identify yourself. Did you identify yourself as an African because you have been cut off from your history? Because you are a slave, you've been cut off from your history. You do not know who you are. So you self-identify as a person of African descent. He brought suit in the federal court against respondent, Mr. Sanford, his owner, for assault. The court held that petitioner, Dred Scott, was not a citizen of Missouri. Wait a minute. You was not a citizen of the state in which you resided, as asserted in his original complaint, because he was not permitted to become a citizen. Why is that? Because you did not uphold the 13th Amendment. You did not enforce the 13th Amendment with its 20 sections, which means you would have had to be naturalized. You'd have had to be naturalized. That process by which one goes through to become a citizen. You would have had to proclaim your nationality. You would have had to acquire citizenship after birth. Naturalization, because your nationality was stripped in 1774. Oh, is it starting to make sense? He was not permitted to become a citizen, and no state had the power to grant him citizenship. Why? Because you didn't naturalize. You didn't proclaim your nationality. That's why. Way back then. And we still dealing with that madness today in 2023. That's why I wanted you to read the dissenting remarks of the Supreme Court justices back then so you could get a better understanding of what actually took place. Furthermore, the court held that petitioner, Dred Scott, did not gain his freedom by being transferred into a territory of the United States. So it don't matter what state you go in, you still a slave. Oh, wait a minute. We're going to do it again. The Supreme Court, furthermore, hold on, let me get that off the screen. Furthermore, the court held that petitioner, Dred Scott, did not gain his freedom by being transferred into a territory of the United States. Said another way, what year is this? This is prior to the establishment of 1871, the Organic Act. There is no government or corporate entity in the District of Columbia called the United States at that time, at this time. I'm going to come again. I'm going to drill it in your brain. Furthermore, the Supreme Court held that petitioner, Dred Scott, did not gain his freedom by being transferred into a territory of the United States, declared free by Congress because Congress's power to make rules and regulations for territories only applied to those territories belonging to the United States when the Constitution was drafted back there in 1789. Therefore, the law making the territory free was unconstitutional. Finally, the court held that petitioner Dred Scott did not gain his freedom by being taken into the free state of Illinois. Because the property laws of one state could not grant petitioner Dred Scott's freedom. Therefore, the court held that judgment against respondent was to be vacated and the case dismissed because the court did not have jurisdiction over the petitioner's complaint. Wow. You see what happens when you read the actual Supreme Court ruling as to why they're ruling? And remember, it's 124 pages long. I just read one paragraph. The judgment finding that respondent was not liable to petitioner for assault. Respondent, Mr. Sanford, was not liable to Dred Scott, petitioner for assault, was reversed, and the case was remanded with an order to dismiss the action for lack of jurisdiction. The Supreme Court held that petitioner Dred Scott was not a citizen and could not bring the action in the court because petitioner was a slave of African descent by his own admission. And right now in 2023, you are a Black person, a African American by your own admission. You are Muslim, you are Hebrew Israelite, you are Christian, you whatever the hell you think you are today. You cannot bring suit. You go into the court, you got all the paperwork, you got an attorney sitting right there, and the judge is looking at you and they're going, you are not a citizen. You're getting no justice. They don't say it like that, but you see what it is. Mike Brown, No, took your case to the United Nations and it got thrown out. Get out. Not a citizen. Police beating you to a fare thee well on camera, and you wonder why you can't get no justice. Not a citizen. Not no real justice. I'm not talking about these little monetary payouts. You dead and they give you a monetary payout to your family. Really? If you was a citizen, you wouldn't have took the whooping in the first place. Try that on for size. You don't see them beating the Chinese like that. Why ain't the Koreans being beat in the street? Huh? Rattle me that. Why the Venezuelans ain't being beat in the street? Why the Bosnians ain't being beat in the street? Why the Ukrainians ain't being beat in the street? Oh, and side note, little digress. Do you know the Ukrainians right now are coming to the United States with full rights of citizenship? They actually getting paid to come here with full education, when yet we have the proclamations of Abraham Lincoln on the books that pays for our education and homes, but because it's been swept under the rug and because you Negroes do not want to proclaim your nationality, we can't enforce it. Because it don't work for one or two people, it works for an entire people. You do not want to go through the lawful process, so we cannot go back to the de facto United States government and be like, okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to enforce the law. They like, no, your people are identifying as black, Negro, and colored. We ain't enforcing nothing. Keep it moving. It's a lot I could say on that, but I'm not. I'm wrapping it up because I'm looking at the clock. I've been talking to you long enough. But anyway, so I think what I'm going to do, oh, wait, I didn't really do this non-resident alien thing. I got to do that. Boom. Let me get to it. Let me get to it. I just want to show you something concerning Google search. Google. See what it says? It's dealing with all these aliens and people who identify as such. You saw our court order, right? Non-resident alien court order. Remember you saw that? Issued by a court. Remember I said that I put that on the record. You see what it says right there? I'm highlighting in blue so you get it. Non-resident alien, any foreign national who is lawfully within a nation, but whose legal domicile is in another nation. Y'all believe that? Do you believe it? Let me read it again. Non-resident alien, any foreign national who is lawfully within a nation, but whose legal domicile is in another nation. You follow me? Let's go here. Hold on. Let me give it to you several different ways. Okay, no, I don't want you. I don't want you. Oh, let me go here. United States Code. United States Code. United States Code, Title 8, aliens and nationality. Nationality is the order of the day. Immigration and nationality, sub chapter 1. See what it says? See what it says? Point number 3, the term alien means any person not a citizen or national of the United States. I'm giving it to you from several different ways. So you cannot run around like, I don't understand what Deputy Sheet talking about. What are you talking about? See, non-resident aliens are non-citizens of the United States. Non-citizens of the United States. All day. Non-citizens of the United States. All day. all day. I mean, I don't know how else you want me to say it. What else do I need to do to get you to see that you out of order? What? Non-citizens of the United States. That's the United States emblem right there on the right. Non-citizens of the United States. That's what a non-resident alien is. That's what it is. Are you getting it? Non-resident aliens are non-citizens of the United States. Non-resident alien, any foreign national who is lawfully within a nation, you're within a nation, but whose legal domicile is in another nation. You don't get that part, right? I lost you when I said that, right? Okay, so let me come back to this. Hold on. Oh, I'm gonna get you. Hold on. I'm gonna show you why it is what it is. And I want you to understand that verbiage. Remember, that was Great White Father's website, not ours. The intent of this order is to clarify the foreign status of Moorish American citizens who are domiciled within the American landmass and not within the United States. Hold on. The Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, which is a corporate entity doing business on behalf of the government, the Republican form of government, which is the Moorish American National Republic, is a foreign entity with the right to self-autonomy as an indigenous tribal nation according to the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. As Moorish American national, Moors are not U.S. citizens. Moorish Americans are American citizens, which is not to be confused with the corporate and artificial U.S. citizen. The United States is a corporation, and with that being said, Moors are not U.S. citizens, employees of and for the United States Corporation. Moorish Americans are in trust with a foreign tribal entity, the Moorish Science Temple of America, which makes its members foreign to the United States. Are you starting to get it? I can't make it no plainer than what I'm making it. I think I'm gonna put a period in there right now. I'm gonna keep doing this until you get it. I have some more stuff I want to cover, but I'm not gonna be on here all day messing with you about things I done said over and over and over and over again. So, with that being said, now that we got that out the way, hopefully you found some value in this. Hopefully you got some value in this. You found some value in it. Hopefully it inspires you to take the paperwork. First, graduate our School of Law and History. Please graduate, take your paperwork, and go down to the courthouse and put it on the record with all government agencies, Social Security, IRS, your job, wherever you got paperwork. They need to know that you are Moorish American so you can be recognized, okay? Come back under the free national constitution and Republican form of government that was established with the Union, okay, by our ancestors. Hopefully you found that. We're going to do this again and again and again. As I get inspired to do this, I'm going to do it. All right. Well, with that being said, family, love you much. Study, study, study. Hopefully you found value in it. Share this with your friends, your family, and most importantly, talk about it. You are not going to learn how to demonstrate by listening to me talk. That ain't helping you at all. You learn how to demonstrate and you get proficient in demonstration by talking the national side of the movement with your friends, family. You learn the national side of the movement by study, research, not Google, research, and asking yourself, why did Prophet Noble Drew Ali say what he said? Why did the Dingle-Eel brothers do what they did? Why did they establish this Moorish Bureau of Vital Statistics? What's the purpose of it? And why must we register into it? Where is that in scripture? Because we're a divine organization. So where is that in scripture? Where can I find it? See, you need to have the answers to these questions. And here's the thing. If you really want to test yourself, get the Naturalization Orientation Handbook and answer the questions in the back of the book. I challenge you. Answer the questions. Go find the answers. When you can answer those questions, if you can answer one half of them questions in the back of that orientation handbook, that naturalization orientation handbook, believe me, you're going to be all right. Please believe. And with that, family, I want to greet you the same way we started, with the greeting words of peace. Islam, Islam, Islam. Peace, peace, peace. Wish you all safe travel, brothers and sisters. Safe travels. All right? Perfect. Peace.